Hey guys, welcome back to the Bucket Think Tank. So it is time to review Superman almost a month late. Shut up. We are not at the point where I'm getting paid for this. So I wanted to do this with a guest, and luckily I only have one guest, and he is guest. How are you, guest?
I am making it. It's been quite a month, but aside from that, I'm here and alive, president accounted for.
That is good to hear. And for those of you who are wondering, yes, we do plan to do the next part of Green Lantern. We've hit some hiccups. We've hit some hiccups. And but we've hopefully honored all those hiccups. So the next time you'll see us both together, it will be for Green Lantern Rebirth, correct?
100%.
All right. But we only have one Green Lantern to talk about today, and he's a guest star in Superman, which Guy Gardner would hate. All right. So let's go with just how we felt about it, and before we go into spoiler territory. So, how
Uh,
did you feel about it?
so I feel like I might get kicked back on this because I look at this movie as a revival for DC after like the last or my fault. Let me specify before they get their pitches or pitchforks and everything. A revival for the DC movie franchise. Now, that being said, I have gone and seen all of them. Like I saw the Aquaman 2, like I've seen I've seen the Justice League. I saw Flash. God forbid I saw Flash, but I saw Flash. And I think that this is a positive step forward. Now, don't ask me like directors and stuff like that because I definitely don't pay attention to none of that. But I thoroughly enjoyed the movie.
Good, good. So, as someone who defended most of Zack Snyder's choices, uh, which oh look, the subscriber count's going down. Okay, um, I still like this movie. As someone who defended Snyder, I'm totally willing to accept the fact that we're probably never getting more of Snyder's Batman. I would like to see it in a comic, maybe an animated movie, but I get it. Nothing big theatrical. That's fine. That's fine. I I can't decide which of these versions I would prefer be the start of the DCU of the DC Cinematic Universe. They're both valid to me. Um, they both do different things. I think they do those different things better than the other one would. Um, but I would not be upset if this is supposed to be the tone for the DC universe going forward. I did feel it was a bit too silly at some points, and going by a scene that was only in the trailer, so it's not a spoiler. When Superman knocked out those teeth and it hit the screen, I couldn't. I was like, don't do this.
I mean, yeah, about to say it was a little silly, and honestly, I'm okay with that because I about to say I'm not trying to use like Marvel as like the comparison, but I've seen campiness overdone and it affect the movie like really badly, and I think Thor Ragnarok was a good representation, or not Thor Ragnarok, Thor Love and Thunder was a really good example of putting too much campiness into a movie where we have a really serious undertone, especially with like Gore the God Butcher, and like everybody like trying to deal with being like Thanos relocated. Um, and like that's camping has done too much, which I was a little worried about going into this because like we saw Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner, and we all know that Nathan Fillion likes to be like a little, silly with his roles. And we had Mr. Terrific and everybody, and I was like, I just really hope that we don't copy Marvel's homework too closely on the campiness and kind of at least try to tell a good story here. And I was thoroughly surprised with what I got.
Right, right. I'd say it sort of skirted the line of the campiness a bit. It flirted with it, especially at the end.
Yeah.
But I think it worked. I think Nathan Fillion being a bit Nathan Fillion works for Guy Gardner. If I would have a slight critique, it would be that this Superman didn't really endear me too much. Like because there's so many other things going on, so many other characters coming in. Mr. Terrific did steal the show. That's the general consensus from everybody. If you ask them about how they felt about this movie, Mr. Terrific is all they can talk about, which is great for Mr. Terrific. Um,
I
um,
mean, so on that same thing, like I was so happy to see. I cannot remember the actor's name. Once again, I'm sorry, everybody, because that was Darwin from First Class. And we saw what happened in X-Men First Class, where we have Darwin, a mutant whose ability is to adapt, and the only black character in that movie, if I recall correctly. And they were like, "Oh, we're gonna let we're gonna let Kevin Bacon kill him."
brother couldn't
Uh,
adapt. Brother couldn't
yeah,
adapt.
and I was like, "Okay," and it didn't. At first, because I knew next to nothing about Darwin and his abilities. But after I had one of my more educated Marvel buddies kind of coach me on what he does, his ability has teleported him away from the Hulk to win a fight. Been turned into like a god of death before to fight death. Yeah, he's done a lot of crazy stuff. So I'm glad that he got into a role where he like I hope he feels like a superstar because he had me cracking up the entire movie, yo.
Yeah, yeah. I really did like Mr. Terrific. He did steal the show. I do agree with that general consensus. At the same time, I think Nathan Fillion is also should get his flowers too, because Guy
He was
Gardner is a very hard character to play. He has to be a character that you both hate and like at the same time. It's like he's an ass, but I like him. If he was anything,
now.
yeah, go ahead.
Oh, well, no, like I definitely agree because like one, I was probably among the consensus of people that thought the bowl haircut was stupid. And because it's just such an odd hairstyle. But I'm like, but it's what he would I'm about to say it's what he wears, like that's his thing. And I'm like, okay, that if this is what you would like to do, then go with it. And like with just how funny he was, I didn't notice it half the time, unless it was immediately brought up, like when Lois did. But like, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. The weakest link was Hawk Girl. It that
That
she
so
was there. That is her accomplishment. She was there.
now I guess my only issue, and there are some cringeworthy scenes with her. Like now, I will not say Mr. Terrific was perfect because I really hated the mode of transportation that he had. When he would be like out flying around with everybody, not his flying saucer. That was cool. I like that. But the little like robot outfit that they made for him, I'm like, y'all couldn't be just a little more inventive with how you're gonna have this guy running around. And so it just kind of like that was bad. But anytime Hawk Girl would screech, um, like that it would I'd have to physically cringe because it just it was a little extra.
Yeah, yeah. If there was also like one other issue I'd had, and I'm not trying to complain, is that I felt like a lot of the ideas that were presented did not get explored properly. Um, the interview that Clark has with Lois is was a really good scene. I really wish we'd seen more payoff to
Ooh,
that.
God,
Uh, as well as what we'll see, like Lex's plan. We don't really get to see the actual fallout from that. Um, like when it's like when Lex reveals part one of his plan to the world about Superman, and we just kind of get like one scene of people like, oh, throw stuff at him, and then that's kind of it, and then it's sort of like a cop out. But I think our general consensus is we like this movie.
yeah. I'm
Yeah.
about to say that is 100% like the general consensus for it.
All
Like,
right. So now we can let go and go fully into spoilers.
All right, and if you have not noticed that this is a movie review and you're here and you're not expecting spoilers, that's on you.
The
Sorry.
movie's also been out for almost a month. Look, I don't know what to tell you at this point. All right. Um, so I I did like how they tried to how they started off this movie by explaining how much time has passed DC in the DC universe. So we're looking about 300 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. We got metahumans are around. We get 30 years ago, the Clark lands on Earth from Krypton, and 3 years ago, he's revealed himself as Superman. I like that timeline. Some people have pointed out that this is a bit weird considering what's going to happen with Batman, with the idea that we're already going to get Damian Wayne introduced. So some Robin's probably going to get cut, and most people think it's going to be Tim. But
And that makes me sad because Tim is my favorite Robin. I
yeah,
think that he's a good amalgamation of majority of the Robins. He is no Nightwing, but I do thoroughly enjoy him as a Robin.
yeah. Crypto, I felt overstayed his welcome by the third time he just decided to be crazy. I get it. I've had a dog that does not know how to act right. I get it. I get it. But by the third time, the joke had kind of run its course for me.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and start putting lines in the sand. I won't take any kind of crypto backlash. He was perfect, and anything that he did was perfect.
Fine, fine, fine. I am not going to argue how people feel about this dog. It's fine. I like crypto. I do. I do. I did not think that the whole him calling crypto was going to be the beginning of the movie. That did surprise me. I did not think that was the beginning of the movie.
You're telling me because because we had all saw the preview
Uh-huh.
and we had okay like oh crypto's in here and crypto's a little rambunctious and everything and everything. I did not think we were gonna start at that high. I did not think we were gonna start there.
Yeah. I remember some of the detractors from this movie were like, he's already getting beat up. Who could beat him up? It's the Shield of Bavaria. And it turns out it's just a clone of Superman. I'm like, well, that kind of explains it now, doesn't it?
So I'm curious, because you can lean more to one side than the other. But do you feel that that is going to be more of a? Do you think because they called him Ultraman, and as you and me both know, Ultraman is from the Injustice series. Um, do you think that that's going to be Ultraman, and they might try to do a little Injustice fun stuff, or do you think that's Bizarro?
Well, we'll be. Let's. So Ultraman is from Earth 3, not Injustice.
I thought was he? Oh, was he not in that animated film with
You're
like
thinking
with
Crisis on
Owlman and
two.
everything?
You're thinking. I think
Oh,
you're thinking Crisis on Two Earths. That introduces Earth 3.
oh, got you. My fault. So he's from Earth 3 and Crisis on Two Earths, but I'm getting that mixed up with Injustice. My bad,
Yeah,
guys. Oh my
yeah,
bad. You can
yeah.
stop commenting. It's all right.
Now, it's interesting because I thought he'd just be Bizarro too, because in New 52, Bizarro was a clone of Superman. And before he was fully cooked, the power went out across the planet. And that's why Bizarro is the way he is. Uh, not he wasn't done, so to speak. Uh,
Yeah, it's
Now
okay. Sometimes we mess up.
he goes into that black hole, so he may end up coming back. He may be fully cooked into being this universe's take on Ultraman. Who knows? Or he might just be in a world where things are like him, and instead of being Ultraman, he'll be Bizarro. You know,
Yeah.
sky's semi the limit.
But aside from jumping way to the end of the movie, I did enjoy, the beginning and what we got to see there. Um, but back to what you were saying. One of my like very favorite, opening scenes, and it's funny. A friend of ours actually has a gripe with the intro to that scene where she interviews Clark.
Oh,
When she's entering the room and she grabs the bat, he's like, you know, he has a key to your house, and that he was coming over. So why are you immediately going to grab for the bat? And that I did not think about that, but apparently it bothered him enough throughout the movie that he had to tell me about it afterwards. And
Okay.
I was like, It's not that serious, bud. You live in a actually, I would assume Metropolis is a very safe city. Um, despite giant monsters.
It has its
But
own. It has its own problem. Like Gotham has a crime problem. Metropolis has a monster of the week problem. You pick and choose which one you want. But I'm convinced that insurance companies are very good at deciding what they won't pay for. Like if your car is destroyed during an alien, huh?
oh no, you're good.
Like if your car is destroyed during an alien invasion, um, they will only cover the car if it hits Superman or if Superman used it to hit the alien. If it's just debris, I don't know what to tell you. Uh,
I just feel that if we're really gonna, if that's where we're gonna, make our points on this, I want the entire act of God clause removed from my, either reworded or removed from my insurance. Like no.
well, that means you won't be
But,
covered for the Spectre.
dang it.
See?
Um.
See?
Okay. All right. Does it adjust my premiums? That's all I want to know, lady.
Um, but to Clark's life at the Daily Planet, I liked how the planet looked. I felt that Perry White was a bit underused. A lot of characters just sort of there. I like that Cat's boobs did look that fake. I did because that's comic accurate. That's comic accurate. There's even a comic where Supergirl, who doesn't quite know how these things work, she looks at it. It's like I'm seeing like something's growing on your chest, like something, and Clark has to pull her out. It's hilarious.
I think I've seen that panel before, like, 'cause she's hard staring at him, right?
Yeah. Uh huh. Um, but again, the interview I like so much because first of all, Lois is right. You can't interview yourself, Clark. You can't. You just can't.
But I really like that she's able to turn off girlfriend mode.
Yeah. This is Lois. Lois is a reporter, sometimes a reporter first, and there's ups and downs with that. But Clark does need that. He does need some like, look, I get it, but no.
But in like the entire time, like she she was being just a little petty because she was like, no, this is all on the record. I'm like, okay, but you obviously know to omit some of this, don't you? Like Lois, like you, I need you to play with kid gloves with Clark just a little bit. You can ask the hard questions, but please, like you got to know.
I, yeah, and the thing I do like the fact she points out that hey, you interfered with something that an American ally was doing. Superman may not think he's an American superhero, but he does all of his work in America for the most part. Same with the Justice Gang. Like it doesn't look like you may think you're not, but that's you kind of are. You kind of are, Babs. You kind
But
of
you
are.
can't, but you can't help but side with Superman on that when he's like, they were going to kill people. Like, and in his head, like I completely understand. Like, I have these abilities, and to much, controversy, my parents sent me here to help you people.
Until further
and
notice, until
until
later,
further
they
notice.
sent me to help.
But I have heard at least half of a message that told me that I need to be here to help you people, and I can just kind of make up what the rest of that message says.
It should also be noted that he did basically threaten the life of the leader of Bavaria, which I do like that Superman doesn't deny that happened.
He's like, yeah,
Um,
dude.
yeah, but the thing is, he's sort of like, I think the question Superman hasn't bothered to ask is to what extent does he get involved? Because is Bavaria just his one time? But there's gonna be other military conflicts.
And that was kind of, and I feel like that's where Lois was heading. Like she's like, you did a fear or interfere without any kind of like direction or like any kind of like supervision from the U.S. Like which you are, especially with the costume, you're a representative of. You are like, if people like, were like, especially in that time, think of America, they're probably going to associate it with Superman. Like they have this guy over there, and now that guy from over there is coming over here. And yes, you did help this, this other, nation and everything. But when does it stop? Are you going to stop Russia next time? Like, are you going to stop the, like, if the UK gets uppity, are you going to try to stop them? And I feel like that's her the where her questions were heading is what where's your bar? Like where's your limit? What do you stop at?
Yeah. And the movie doesn't answer that question because I think at the end of the day, it ventures into Man of Steel territory, which this movie isn't trying to be. But I would have liked to have seen, considering what we know will happen to Superman with the whole the reveal of the full message from his parents. If he decides, like, you know what, I'm going to have another interview, like an actual public interview, and it might not be with Lois, but I would have had him have another interview. He tries to plead his case, and then he hears what's going on and says, like, you know what, I can't do this. I have to go help. And
Which I thought that would have been a good introduction because it is left very open ended towards the end of the movie because the message, and to the fans out there that haven't seen it, we got a very different message from Superman's parents this time. I'm not sure if it's been um, repeated or done similarly in comics before, but through the first half of the movie, Kal-El's parents had pretty much said, "Hey, we're gonna send you to Earth, and you're gonna help them out." And then later on, we kind of see that that message is not so black and white, and that it's more of a they're a simple-minded people. Take as many wives as you can, and pretty much restart Krypton. Um, and just to have some clarity moving forward, and that's why we believe that he should have had another interview to kind of at least like be like, hey, I didn't know all that, and then kind of like give him a reason to to kind of do some like some PR shaping, kind of give him a little bit of like a bit of a public eye, uh upgrade.
yeah, there's like a little bit where we see uh, a couple people give their opinions on it, but it also feels like so in the moment. And then we, of course, find out that Lex, in addition to, obsessing so much that he goes around where places Superman has fought to grab his hair like a creep, break into the Force
Ooh.
of Solitude. He then has like little monkeys typing hate comments. I'm like, so
That
um,
that got I died laughing in the theaters, that I know that was really like campy, but that's some really petty shit,
it was so petty. It was, and I don't hate Lex too much for that. I don't, because Lex is petty. That is who Lex is. But again, I felt we missed sort of like this point here, because if we're saying that next to no one actually hates Superman before this, then it makes the heel turn that we see in the news feel even
Y-
less important.
Yeah, because and it was immediate. Like it's almost like he had nobody on his side. Like I mean, albeit we do see what happens to people when they're on his side. But yeah, like while they're like, immediately upon that reveal, um like it's just it was a complete 180 on anybody, and that was a little alarming. It almost felt like we were missing a few scenes because of how fast the crowd turned on him.
Yeah.
Like how credible is Lex to go on this talk show, play this one tape and sway the entire mind of a nation?
Yeah, because like if you stop and think IRL, like in the context of the movie, okay, so has he tried to lord over us? Has he the Is anyone married to Superman? You can tell us now. It's out. You-
Yeah, and then the argument that that the reason that he's been so nice is that he's grooming us. Now, I also understand the idea of it. If someone, because like we could always use Invincible as a good argument for what, or for that kind of situation.
Mhm.
Um, if like playing the nicety, becoming a dad and everything, and like slowly starting into it, because like once you have a start, kind of going for it, but like that would still be open for a debate or conversation for at least a day or two before people were swayed on it. But this guy had angry mobs the minute that video played.
Yeah, yeah. Um, I, I I did squeal a bit when I saw the Hall of Justice because I felt like now we can finally go. Meanwhile, at the Hall of Justice, like we have to do it at least once. It has to be said. If you don't, then what's the point of this? What's the point of having it? All right, that has to
Oh
be a joke. That has to be a joke. We can make a joke about the Justice Gang. We can make a joke about the Hall of Justice. Um, I did like the idea of the Justice Gang because it felt like they were trying. It almost felt a bit corporate, um, which is sort of not what these characters would want. I mean, guy wants he wants his fame and he wants people to like be glad he's there. But he wouldn't be the kind of guy that would like he's shining signing for soccer deals and shoes.
now that he did seem very um Red Guardian-ish when it when it came to that. I assume that you've seen Thunderbolts.
A little.
Yeah. Well, the Red Guardian was kind of like going for all these brand deals. Now, I did kind of wonder how the Guardians felt about what was going on Earth. I doubt that they care because they have entire sectors to worry about. Um, but Guy was just kind of just out there doing what he wanted to do,
That's how Guy Gardner does it. It's either his way or no way, baby. All right. Which is why I think it was good he was with Mr. Terrific. Like he's like, oh god, he's doing it again. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Let's go. Um,
It, I know it's a Superman movie, but if anytime like someone would ask me what my favorite parts of that movie, I have like five real quick clips of Mr. Terrific, and then maybe like one or two of Superman.
I'm not gonna lie, I was sort of like neutral to Mr. Terrific until he took Lois to that island.
Oh,
And first of all, I jammed out to the song as it was playing. I was like, okay,
uh-huh.
okay, this song is actually not very Mr. Terrific if we're being honest. But whatever, he's having fun. Well, it's not having fun, but he's like, I warned you. Okay, this is it.
He's like, I'm only gonna tell you one more time. I thought I was gonna say the same thing, and then I
He played
getting to
very
see
violent dodgeball with them. He played very violent dodgeball with them.
the T spheres were so cool. I loved everything about the T spheres. Like,
They're such a hard thing to like sell to people. Like, okay, so these are spheres and they do things.
what do they do? A lot of things, like everything, maybe.
I can
But
skate with them in some stories.
I feel that it was almost his line delivery that kind of sold it for me. Anytime he had something to say, can you fix that? Can I fix that? Like,
I'm Mr. Goddamn Terrific. He's not even the first Mr. Terrific, though, kids. He's not even the first Mr. Terrific.
that is new to me, or news to me. I did not know that
Yes.
there were multiple.
So, yes, no, there's only been one other. He was Terry Sloan. He was Mr. Terrific during the era of the JSA. And
Okay.
he died, and Michael Holt later took up the mantle, courtesy of the Spectre. The Spectre told him about, hey, look, I worked with a guy. He was terrific, so to speak.
Ah.
You could do that, and he did. He carried on the legacy of Mr. Terrific, but most
And I'll let.
people associate him with Michael Holt. So it is.
Okay.
Mhm.
Now I did not like how casually Lex was using these teleporters, by the way?
Oh yeah, it looked like a bad idea the whole time. Like this doesn't look safe. Like
Um,
why is it?
it's sparking. Is it supposed to spark? Like, I, like it shouldn't do that. I feel. And oh, you just gave these to everybody. Like you, okay, all right. That's fine. Surely there's no giant world-ending problem that you having these would mean. Because I thought they were boom tubes at first, and I'm like, are we getting some dark side stuff or
Lex,
um?
you can't hate Superman enough to work with Darkseid. You
Yeah,
that is beyond insane. You-
I mean, we saw the limits of his insanity
the
in
planet can
that.
go, but so long as Superman looks bad, I'm fine.
He said, I'll blow up the whole world." Like, it does- but as long as Superman looks really bad while I do it, it's okay.
My favorite thing about Lex this movie was his whole guiding Ultraman in those
Oh, you
fight
mean his
scenes.
fight stick?
Yeah, like go 4B, Q7.
1A, 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 1A.
I was like, you really want to be Iron Man, don't you? But you just know
Oh,
you can't handle. You're claustrophobic, aren't you, Lex? You're claustrophobic.
he, he's like, no, I don't need to go out there.
I
Um,
have people to do that for me.
So I am unfamiliar with it. So perhaps I don't know if the nanobite chick or the chick with the nanites, is she a character from the comics or
Off the top of my head, I'm not sure. She could be any of the one ofs that Lex has messed with. At first, I thought she might have been Mercy Graves, but no, she can't be Mercy Graves. Lex would never have her that exposed to danger. Also, Mercy's way too competent. Uh, but that nano stuff was wild, especially in that fight. What do you mean you're gonna
Ooh.
suffocate him?
Like and that I was like I'm about to say and what she did to Crypto, yo, immediately dropped any like affiliation or admiration I had towards the character as a villain to zero. I was like, you can't hurt dogs and be in my good book. I bet you Doom wouldn't even hurt dogs.
Doom loves animals,
Yeah, there's no way. I'm about to say I
unless
might be
their name
drinking.
is Reed Richards or Johnny Storm.
I'm about to say I know I'm probably drinking the Doom Kool-Aid a bit too much, but I just don't think it's in his book.
Look, look. Let me tell you right now. I've read Lexus Sin as president. I've actually wanted to reread it. But Doom as ruler of the world has had a much easier transition, and all the heroes hate him. But we're getting off topic.
Yeah,
We're getting off topic. That'll be a
now
whole other tangent. At some point, we
now
will talk about One World Under Doom when it's finished.
now whatchamacallit, I did like that brief stint between him and Lex when he's like, you're controlled by nothing but envy. And he's like, yeah, I know that. I know I'm controlled by nothing. I
I don't
know
need a
I'm jealous.
therapist.
Yeah. Do you think I don't fucking know that? Yeah.
I know I've got problems, and the best way to solve those problems is if you go away.
Oh, we did kind of glance over it just a bit, but getting to see whatchamacallit, Metamorpho.
Yeah, he was one of the surprises because everyone else's movie was kind of already spoiled. Lex was spoiled. Superman had to be spoiled. Not Crypto was spoiled. The the Kents was spoiled. I think his parents were spoiled. Metamorpho just like, hey guys,
Yeah, I'm here. And I oh, it God, seeing that it's a really bad idea to be friends with Clark or to be friends with Superman when they brought in that one hot dog vendor or I think he
because
was a hot
Superman said
dog
he
vendor.
likes his food.
Yeah. And that I want you to know that shocked me when he was playing Russian roulette with that guy and he's like and it goes off on the second spin. And he's like, that happened a lot faster than I expected. Well, all right, I'm gonna go find someone else you love to kill. Maybe I'll
I'm gonna go
find that
find
Clark.
Clark Kent.
I'm like,
She was like, if I wasn't in so much pain right now, I would laugh.
Oh, but yeah, seeing Metamorpho was so cool. I was like, okay, all right, because he was in that terrific standalone run a while back, right, with Plastic Man, and there was two others that I can't remember in that one.
Phantom Girl and Mr. Terrific. It was
Yeah.
effectively like they didn't say it out loud, but this was definitely supposed to be DC's attempted answer at the Fantastic Four. Um,
Oof, I didn't know that.
I mean, if you just sort of look at him like there's a really smart guy, all right, there's a
Oh,
wisecracking dude,
dang.
there's a there's a girl that can turn invisible, and there's the dude that kind of hates that he looks like that. That's yeah, this is it.
Damn, that is on the nose, and I never made that. I was DC's target audience. They were like, "There's gonna be someone out here that doesn't know what this is."
They
But
totally
seeing
won't
him,
get that character damage is the Hulk. They won't get it. They won't get it. Sideways, he may look like Spider-Man, but no,
but he's not Spider-Man.
there's like 5 people who haven't read Spider-Man that reads DC that read superhero comics. It's like 5 people. Even that
Uh,
Jordan Bucket think tank barely reads Spider-Man.
and it sucks though because I actually really did like it when they released those because I think I remember talking to you about those because that was back when I was at a whole different part of my life. And I was back when Comixology still had its own app, and
to
and I
quote
was good.
quote Ben Affleck's Batman, there were perfect things, diamond absolutes, and that was the Comixology website.
Oh, it was so great, and then they integrated into Amazon's. I'm not saying anything bad about Amazon. I'm just saying it's really hard to navigate, and I can't find everything that I want all the time.
I'm
But
convinced some of my subscriptions have just like stopped, and I have like my own issues. You know what? Tangent time, tangent time. I have a list of grievances for how they handle their manga and their comics. All right, why do I have in my library Pokemon Pokemon X and Y, that manga? Like I have 4 volumes of that, and then there's another volume of it separate. It's not with the other ones. So I don't get why that exists. Why all of a sudden do my Goblin Slayer mangas? All right, why is it that all of a sudden they've stopped? Like they stopped at like volume Goblin Slayer Daikatana stopped. I think issue volume 8, and then it picked up volume 9. But for some reason, it still counts as like a separate slot. Like
it's messy. It's so messy, and
who's running this? And I
I
know
couldn't deal with
no
it.
one's gonna see this and think about it like mattering, but it annoys me to no end. All right, it annoys me to no end.
No, no, and as you should be. You are a hardworking individual. You use your disposable income to buy children's books, and you will have them look the way that they need to look.
Yeah, I'm not even asking for perfection here. I'm just asking for it to look presentable. That is it. A
It's
little
okay
organization.
because as a person who is a hardworking individual and I make my own disposable income and I buy children's books, I had to go to physical because I couldn't deal with it.
Yeah, yeah. I'm. We know my issues with physical copies. At
I,
one
you,
point, I
you,
will do a video. I will make an effort to like show off these omnibuses.
I'm telling you, I'm about to say, I'm pretty sure people would love to see him, yo.
Yep. Yep. Anyway, if you guys want to help me make bad decisions and buy more omnibuses, don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. But anyway, tangent over. Back to the movie.
All right, but
Metamorpho, I felt was a bit out of character, but that might be because every time I've seen him, he's been a bit of a lovable lug like the thing, and I do appreciate they've made him a bit different. He's a family man now. He's got a son, which is how he's being held hostage. Can you imagine just having the fact that your job is to stand there in a cell and hold a gun to a child? Did you ever think, am I on the wrong side here?
I feel like when people begin to think that they're on the wrong side with working for Lex, I think that's when stuff goes bad for them.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's either I end up in here without the baby and the gun, or I hold this baby hostage, and we figure it out. Um, Now, I will say what did surprise me because I have only heard Metamorpho in like I think one other animated short or not short but show, and then I've only read him. His voice did not match what I got. I always kind of imagine him to have a deeper voice.
Yeah, like when I think of Metamorpho, I tend to think of Ben Grimm.
Yeah,
Um, yeah,
I'm gonna say almost like a, or maybe like Drax adjacent. Like he doesn't have to sound like Batista. I think that's who
yeah.
it is.
Uh,
Um, I don't think
I
it's
think that would
Batista.
have worked too. Um, Another thing that surprised me was Lex's girlfriend, who I thought was stupid the whole movie. Then it
Was
turns
actually a
out she ain't
genius.
stupid. She's crazy, but she ain't stupid.
Oh, which I will bring it up because we got the number one player in the game, yo. I'm just saying.
Jimmy with the Riz Olsen.
God dang. I did not know Jimmy was out here with that type of game to have females just chasing after him, risking their lives to get him information.
Yeah, and it was like at one point he dated Supergirl for a bit too.
Oh dang.
Yeah, yeah. He blew it with Power Girl that one time though.
Oh,
He failed the
dang.
test. He couldn't keep his eyes where they were supposed to be.
But the window's there.
That's the trick.
but the window's there. If you didn't want me to. And
She's gonna
I
hurt you
thought
if you finish that sentence. She's gonna hurt you if you finish that sentence.
I'm just saying, isn't that the canon? The reason why she has the window is so people don't like look at her.
It depends on who you ask. It depends on who you ask. Like there was one story that her boobs were drawn bigger by the artist to see if the editors would notice. So you just kept drawing them bigger and bigger.
You know what? Sure. If they didn't stop them, why would I stop?
That's right. That's right. It worked for DuckTales. But yeah, yeah. That surprised me. Like, hey, you thought I was taking stupid selfies? Nah, man. I got state's evidence. I got state's evidence.
Yeah, but yeah, like man, Lex's plan. That's the first time I've ever seen someone like, and the fact that we see that his supermax prison that he has inside of this little pocket dimension that he's created does not just house super enemies. It houses people that have done the smallest of slights against him. We see his ex-girlfriends in there. I'm pretty sure if he got served the wrong coffee, he'd be in there. I'm pretty sure if someone tripped him on the side of the on like the sidewalk, they'd probably be dead. But they're in there. Like we see that they have taken the pettiness of Lex and dialed it up to 1 billion.
The professor that gave him an A- that one time in college in there.
Yeah.
The girl that didn't text back right away in there. Um,
Like, but it was still in the Max prison. Seeing the extent of what Metamorpho can do was actually kind of astonishing.
mm-hmm.
I don't know much of Metamorpho's backstory. Is he like some kind of like scientist or something like that to be able to kind of
No,
understand?
so they might change his origin. They might. But his official origin is pretty much lab experiment. Lab experiment gone wrong. He was effectively a bodyguard to, well, not a bodyguard. It's like uh, if he was a criminal, he'd have been a henchman. He's
Okay,
not stupid, but he is in love with a girl by the name of Sapphire Stagg, and she loves him. All right, but Simon Stagg, her father, is basically a bad man. Like,
okay,
uh, sort of like science for profit, whatnot. In the Terrifics, he was pretty much diametrically opposed to Mr. Terrific. He's like, look, Stag, you bought up my company. That's fine. Whatever it happens. But I'd like you to just let me help you get this tech going. A lot of it's tricky stuff. He didn't want to listen. Boop, boop, ba doop. Lab experiment. Like, I'm a monster. I'm
Oh,
metamorpho. And yeah, that's kind of the gist
yeah.
of it. Simon Stagg is a terrible person. Sapphire Stagg is daddy's little girl. But she loves Metamorpho before the accident. For some reason, I cannot remember his name. Doesn't matter. He didn't like to call himself his name either way. So, but he's usually sort of like, yeah, I'm a monster. But his powers are pretty cool.
I'm about to say just him being able to make a super flare, but you hear him saying like the right elements to make this super flare and like to kind of get everything going. And I just didn't know if you had like any prior like education or knowledge to it. So I mean, I do think that's really neat though.
Yeah. What else? I think for favorite scenes in this movie, I do love anytime Superman flies. We like close up some flying. I'm like, this is great. Like I loved Cavill's first flight in Man of Steel. Him learning to fly was great. And here it's great just watching him fly. I like that actually throughout this entire film, Superman has not been at 100%.
Yeah, he like as we hear four even tell him like, hey, you're still hurt, bud. You still need about another 20 minutes to bake, bud.
I can take him now. You couldn't beat him at 100. Why are you going at 80?
Now, I also on the subject of favorite scenes. Oh, actually, you didn't even say the favorite scene. Well,
So, one scene that got me choked up a bit is when the kid put the flag up, the
oh
Superman flag.
yes,
I was like, look, if anyone runs this kid over, like, no one ran this kid over, like, nah, dude, like, no, we're not running this kid over. All right, the kid's got gumption. But also, my first complaint about Nathan Fillion's Guy Gardner came when he was walking, and he hit the tank. We couldn't see the constructs he made. Now I know why we didn't get to see the constructs he made, because they would not be appropriate for a trailer.
yeah, those were
Giant middle fingers.
100% middle fingers,
Love
and
it.
I remember that being like the hot topic of like TikTok for a little bit because there was a lot of people that have only kind of seen like either the Green Lantern movie or sometimes like are the shows, and they always see ring plus stream of green plus construct equals one construct, and the fact that we kind of see guy just kind of wave his hand and constructs just happen, and then that's when a lot of the other people like no, like Green Lantern rings just kind of work how they want to work.
Yeah, it's like people have tried. There's no real consensus. Like currently, Batman can just take a ring off of Green Lantern. I'm like, but it's been said like no force in the universe can pull it off. Like the Guardians haven't been able. The Guardians couldn't remove Sinestros at one point in the comics, which is hilarious because both those comics, the comic where Batman takes Hal Jordan's ring, and the comic where the Guardians, well. To be fair, I'm about to step in it. That one doesn't count. So to correct myself, that whole scene when the Guardians failed to remove Sinestro's ring, they were lying. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. The idea is it's Green Lantern rings have been inconsistent. The idea is the limit is really the user's imagination. And Guy Gardner, not only is he creative, he's extra. But by this point, Guy Gardner is clearly like if he's not a veteran Lantern, he's seen enough that he can just do this. You and I both read Green Lantern Rebirth, and there is a scene where Green Arrow mentions how hard it is just to even make an arrow.
About to say just to make one construct,
A small one, no less.
Hey, that small construct did work for him.
Yeah. And guys out here just like, you know what? I want middle fingers to erupt from the ground.
And then they're like, "Hey, that sounds baller as fuck. We're gonna do that."
But we can't show this in the trailers. It's just
Now, I will not let the idea of favorite scenes pass without mentioning the most lovable parents I've seen in a long time.
okay. Okay.
They're just so great for like because I know we only get like two scenes with them. We got Martha, correct?
Yeah.
We got her calling her son, yelling into the phone. We've all had that one parent that doesn't really understand how speakerphone works. We calling, and then I definitely teared up when his dad was over there talking to him and just telling him how proud he was of him. And then, his mom comes out there, oh, he's just a big old pile of mush. Don't worry about him. Like it makes my southern heart just go for like just, squeal with joy just seeing how loved he was, even if his other parents took a drastically different role in this
To be fair, they still.
situation.
To be fair, the elves still loved him. It's like, hey, look, you can do whatever you want here. All right, you can take this planet, take as many wives as you want. We don't just be happy. All right, you can rule this planet.
But they were so great, like, and we got to see just kind of that like they were just great parents, and I'm glad we didn't have like a tragic or like a in Man of Steel, like no, don't come over here, I'm going with this tornado type situation. Like, we got to really see that, like no parents died in it, and like when she's like, I'll go get your boots, and
It's
I'm
nice to
like,
see John Kent get to make it through a Superman movie. All right, because he didn't make it through through Dawn of Superman either. He died of a heart attack in the first one with Richard Donner. So it's a hard life for John Kent.
it
He's
is,
not
and
Ben Grimm, DC. He's not Ben Grimm. He's not Ben Parker. He's not Uncle Ben. He doesn't have to die to sell the point home.
No, I'm telling you, and I thought that was really good. Like just that scene alone. Another favorite scene is after Superman has fell from orbit, fought a clone of himself, had to call in his dog for backup, had to dislocate his shoulder to get to win this fight against Ultraman. Um, we get Mr. Terrific say pop up above him say, "Hey, what are you doing? Quit playing around." And we get to see just the saddest Clark. I'm not playing around. I'm doing important stuff. Telling you. Like the line delivery.
Um, the, the end of this movie, I was not. I heard that Millie Alcock was going to be there as Supergirl, but I didn't know to what extent. This is one of those like we really could have used you. We really could have used you. The
It,
person who could tell me exactly how my parents are, if they would want this, or fighting Ultraman, could have
oh, oh,
really used
oh,
you.
oh, but after seeing her, do you really think that that's the one that we need right then and there?
I mean, if she was sober,
Yeah, exactly. We obviously see that, as Supergirl has shown up, one, why the dog is untrained, why Crypto has not been trained. Two, that red suns are great if you want to get wasted.
look,
And three, the last time that I saw Supergirl in an animated movie, she was throwing hands with Darkseid, sober. I don't think, I do not think that I would want to see a drunk Supergirl out there throwing hands with Ultraman.
I would be throwing much hands either. She's like, no, look, some days my cousin annoys me, but I never want to hurt him. But you,
Like that, I just feel like there's gonna be even less restraint because I have not seen her ever duck a fade ever. And anytime I've seen her,
oh
it's-
yeah, like I remember when I was reading Supergirl comics. Um, for a bit, I read. I forget which one it was. It takes place shortly after the events of Superman, Batman, Apocalypse, and it was so unfair because she was basically being trained by Batman and Wonder Woman,
okay.
and I was like, that's not fair. and she
Uh,
just sort of like solos the Titans.
Dang. And that how about say like seeing her show up though, and just how I finally got to see the tone that we're going forward with. The moment she said, "See you later, bitch," and then left, I was like, I see where we're going, DC. All right.
uh, Kara's gonna be that cousin that always needs money.
Oh yeah, and I want her to be the cousin that needs money that has it too. like like she works her own job and everything, but she just shows up at the Fortress of Solitude to steal his groceries.
Mm. I also really like the ending when he's like when he's laying down, finally getting proper treatment, and the clip he's playing is not the one he had before, but it's one of like with his
Yeah.
parents, with the
Yeah,
parents
and
that
that
raised him. Like this is nice. This is nice.
oh, and 4, oh my god. Or was it 4 or 5? Or I think it was 4, right?
Yeah.
He was like he's like, "Can I have a name?" He's like, "4 is a name." It's like, "So's Gary." I'm like, oh my god, I feel bad for every Gary in this
You're
theater
like,
right
what did I do? I know what
like
happened. I know
got hit by
James
a
Gunn.
stray.
James Gunn watched Pokemon and was a big fan of Ash Ketchum, and he like when he could name his rivals, it was always Gary. It was always Gary.
Nah, you know what he did? Anytime that he could name his rival, it was always like butt stink or something like that.
Game Freak, let us name our rivals again. All right, let us. All right. I already
Nah,
had too
because
much fun. Like I had too much fun playing Sword and Shield because me being so extra about it. I named my character 1776. Here I am in the Galar region, a region based off of England, off the UK, and I call myself 1776. And each of
it's
my
okay.
Pokemon was a founding father. I'm like, I am going to revolutionize this entire region.
I'm gonna say, pray to God I never find me a Braviary. Understand? I'll say I will make sure if I find a Braviary, we are good.
Um, but yeah. So I think if you couldn't figure it out, we like this movie. We do. It has some hiccups. I think for me, I like ideas and I like when they're explored a bit more, and ideas about the whole where does Superman draw the line and when he should interfere, or the whole how the public views Superman. I've just have it be like, oh, it's just monkeys on computers. I'm like you've kind of dropped the ball with me here, but everything else I really liked, and it sort of made up for it.
I agree. I'm about to say if they really wanted to like kind of explore the duality of Superman and Clark a bit more, I wouldn't have minded that. But I did want a little bit of fleshing out of the issues a bit more. Now, what I will say for the movie as a whole is that I am glad that I did not have to spend the first hour of this movie getting or seeing Superman's backstory again, and that I did not have to wait. And this is no slight at any superhero genre, because it's like I know that the same formula has worked for years, and like sometimes like it's needed, but I'm glad to see that they are not having to handhold people as much and just introducing characters, like already established characters, and just kind of letting the audience go home and do their research on their own. Because if I had to see the first meeting again of all these characters, because they did it in Justice League, they did it in a Marvel, like where they feel that they have to start from the beginning with these characters, and it takes up so much time. Anything could happen to actors in between all these shoots and everything that they could just no longer be there, and then we'll never get something fully off the ground. So getting to just see, hey, that's Hawk Girl, by the way, after y'all watched this whole video and you've heard us talk about Hawk Girl one time, that's about how the movie treated it. That's Guy Gardner, that's Mr. Terrific, uh, that's Lois and Clark. They're a couple right now. They have their own issues. This is Lex. and they put them out there. They say this is the team, and then now you as a movie viewer get to go home. Hey, that character was called Guy Gardner. I want to know a bit more about them. Let me go to my LG, like my local comic book store, or let me go online and Google it. Let me go put, a book, or go like, do something to figure out who this character is and what they do to make them tick and how they differ. I think if we can kind of keep that idea, we don't have to do it a whole bunch, but there's been like Justice League Unlimited. They introduce new characters all the time, and I could count like on one hand at least five, like 4 or 5 times where I've been like, that character is really cool. I want to know more about what they do, and I like that. That's where this movie went with that. Like now they got some homework. They can go home if they don't care about it. There was no harm done. But I don't like spending the first hour of a movie having to relearn everything.
Right, right. I think there's room to redo it. But the problem is, like, we've already had um, a Superman origin story. Whether people like it or hate it, it's kind of irrelevant. Like, it doesn't really change that much. Um, Same with Batman. Like, I can agree that if you want to try to set up a different theme for your movie, like, hey, this moment here is important. So we need to sort of show how this scene shapes this character now. For Clark, you really can't do that because he's a baby when this happens. Um,
So you're
so
going way back.
yeah. For Bruce, the death of his parents is kind of like a
it's
big
it's
deal.
Yeah, but we also see that if you've already established, like, especially with these big named characters, most
Mhm.
people will know the origin story. Like, because we look at the best. I'm sorry, guys. I can only use Marvel as my examples because that's where I thrive. We see the Spider-Man movies. Spider-Man movies, all three of them, except for what you call, have always started with some form of an origin. Except once we got to uh, I forgot his name. Uh,
Tom?
Tom. Yeah, once we got to Tom, that was a whole different startup. But even in was it Homecoming? We still kind of got to see the start. Which I believe it handled it a bit better. But and then like but look in the Spider-Man video games and stuff like that. We're already kind of dealing with a pre-established Spider-Man. Most people for these big icons kind of know the origin story.
Yeah, they can get it. Like, okay, so this is Batman. I'm pretty sure his parents are still dead.
Yeah,
Um,
most like if I had to guess, his parents died.
Now, I'm still a bit unsure about the direction they want to go for that for Brave and the Bold because you're trying to cast Batman, Damian, and presumably Nightwing as well as Batgirl. I mean, that is a lot to go off of. And
So
technically, if you introduce you can't introduce Batgirl if you're going for the actual Brave and the Bold because, well, or at least to introduce Damian. Babs is already in the wheelchair by then as Oracle. Um,
I know that you will
That's a lot
probably
to
be.
dump on new viewers. That's a
Yeah, I'm gonna say I feel like you will be the first person there, pen and notepad when that comes out to be like, all right, let's see what y'all messed up.
all right. Let's see here. Let's see. First of all, no Tim Drakes. That's minus 100 points, movie. All right.
I will agree with that one. No Tim Drake minus 100. You know what?
Mhm.
200. 100 for you, 100 for me.
Mhm. That's
We all got
100
a
for not
lot of.
having Tim. I'm another 100 for not having Drake. All right. First, um, but it's up to it. I would personally introduce Damien in maybe the second movie. Because if you're introducing everything else, it's just going to be too cluttered. Bec- they might not introduce Jason.
I know that Jason is a lot of people's favorite because Red Hood is, your morally gray character and everything. But as funny as it sounds, I've definitely always been a fan of Dick and Tim. So like those two have always been my favorite because I feel like Nightwing himself is such an interesting character because like we always see the fallout between him and Batman a lot. Because Batman can't raise his kids until he can raise his kids. Like he has really good stints of raising his kids, and then he has really bad stints of raising his kids, as we saw with what he did to Jason. He yeah, he messed Jason up.
The
But
Jason issue is always one people argue with. I've looked at it like this. Bruce's mistake was not taking Jason to like an actual family, because Jason didn't need to put on a costume and beat people up.
he didn't need an anger outlet. He needed
needed stability.
therapy.
He needed stability.
Therapy.
He needed a family. He needed a dad. Like, look, you are not going to be stealing hubcaps. All right. Like, no. Get upstairs. Get upstairs.
We live in a 3-story house in the suburbs. What are you stealing hubcaps for? But that's neither here or there. Superman, good movie in my book. I do think that it may not, after having this conversation and kind of highlighting some like points in it that I think could have been done better. I will not say it's the 10 out of 10 that I originally thought it was, because people can change their views. But I will say that it is a positive first step for DC after what I have been forced to watch the past few years.
I will partially agree as someone who did not feel forced to watch any of it before that. But I generally get, as I've said before, I get it. Snyder's Superman really should, well, his DCU probably shouldn't have been the main line movies. It probably shouldn't have been. And again, there are things I disagree with. Amazons being descended from Kryptonians, wasn't a fan of. No. His movies are always better in their Ultimate editions, which I'm not sure if that speaks to him as an editor or just like people don't get his movies. Like, no, you need to cut this stuff out. Like, don't. If we cut it out, they're gonna hate it.
Oh my god! Because Justice League was horrible, and then I get the Snyder cut, and it immediately changes every view I had about it, and I'm just sitting there angry because first off, I paid for one of these. I paid money to go. Guys, IMAX money. We all know what kind of economy we live in. I bought $20 popcorn, a $14 ticket. I got the bucket to go see this movie, and then I get the Snyder Cut on HBO Max. I spend 3 hours of pure enjoyment seeing how great this movie could have been, and I'm mad. It could have been so much better. I got to see everything that I wanted. They cut out everything I hated. It was just great. Oh, I loved it.
Yeah. I would say, if you would ask me to pick which one I preferred, Man of Steel or Superman, it would often be a coin flip depending on the day. I like the optimistic, the sort of bright and happy, but also, more importantly, well-established Superman. But I also do like the sort of more grounded, I really do not know what I want to do outside of help people.
I can also agree. It's a hard choice.
They're both valid, but I think we are just sort of circling the drain here. There's only so much we can keep going with. I like this movie. I also like this movie. I like this movie. So anyway, I think we're both looking forward to seeing what else is going to come from this. I guess it'll be Supergirl. I guess. I think there was a timeline put up what James Gunn has planned. If I can find it, I'll post it on the screen when I edit this. But anyway, I think we're good. You good, guest?
Always.
All right. So that will be it for us. What did you guys think about Superman? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Let's be even spicier. Did you like Man of Steel? Did you? Don't be afraid if you did. Don't be afraid if you didn't. Again, if I don't like it, I just won't say anything. I just won't comment on it. Just be cool. Just be cool in the comment section, and I'll catch you all later. This is the Bucket Think Tank and guest signing off. Thanks for watching, and as always, may your fandom serve you well.